Hey everybody, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. This is the official Hocus Poker trading card game YouTube channel where I talk about Hocus Poker, a homemade trading card game that I made. And this is going to be the first in a series of videos that I'm making where I discuss the different design philosophies that influence the mechanics and play styles of each of the sins, which the cards in my game are split up by. Like Magic the Gathering has the color system, where each of the different colors has like their own, play styles associated with them. In this game, sins are pretty much the same thing as that. And for this video, we are going to discuss the design philosophy of the sin of lust and cards afflicted by it. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about with lustful cards is their symbol. And the card symbol is on right here. It's on the lower left corner, right by the picture. The lustful symbol, and all the sins, I based their symbols off of the different zodiac symbols, but it's like personality traits associated with the zodiac symbols. I didn't go that deep into it. I just picked zodiac symbols that I thought I could turn into a symbol that could help express the sin. I picked Sagittarius for lustful because it's like an arrow, and of course I'd make it an arrow through a heart, and I made it swirly just to jazz it up a bit. But anyway, that is the lustful symbol. And first I had to figure out with lustful cards, what I thought I had to think about what does it mean to be lustful, and I thought immediately like seduction and stuff. So at first I thought, you could use your opponent's cards against them. But it's like, the more I thought about it, that's really more of like an envious trait. So I had to think a little bit deeper because I wanted to come up with like a totally unique play style and like totally unique tactics that mostly lustful cards have access to and the other sins do not. And I thought about, what does it really mean to be lustful? And it's like when you're lustful, you're craving companionship, and it's like you don't want to be alone. You want affection. That's what you deep down you want. So I thought that would make sense to have the card that lets you directly bring out a familiar spirit and possibly use it would come from the lustful cards. Because it's like in this game, familiar spirits, like if you went around, you get to play a certain card, and you get to keep using its effect. Whereas like all the other cards, like they pretty much they get discarded after you're done using them. But familiar spirits will stay around, and you can keep using their effect. So it's like they're like the ultimate companion. So it would make sense that lustful cards would want to search those out. Another thing about lustful cards is it's like with the craving affection and interaction. You want to have interaction between you and your opponents, and the main way to interact with opponents in this game, and the way to really interrupt plays and really change a round up for better or worse for yourself, is by raising in this game. And so that's why a lot of the lustful cards have effects that make it easier for you to raise. Like Panty Shot lets you raise right from your deck. Death Metal Orpheus, he lets you raise right from your muck. Let's see here. We got the Streaker, and he lets you raise right from your hand. When normally you'd have to have a card, you'd have to have your raise face down, already played to raise it. And that's why cards like the Boogie Oogie Man, he helps you get raises in your raise zones, so that you can you can use more raises and whatnot. And the sadomasochistic crash test dummy, he makes everybody raise. It's like he wants to have a big like a big everybody interact. It's like super lonely. He wants something really fun, really big to happen. So that's what he wants. Okay, and final thing I would like to talk about in this video is final thing I'd like to talk about in this video is the familiar spirit for the sin of lust, and why I picked it. And here's something. Right now in Hocus Pocus, there's 77 different cards, and there's 11 cards of each sin, and there's 7 sins. And as of right now, as of this first set, there is only one familiar spirit in each of the sins, so there's a total of 7 familiar spirits. So I really wanted the and it's like I want familiar spirits to be like special cards, so I really wanted each of the familiar spirits to like really represent and like really reflect their sin, So for the sin of lust, for lustful cards, I picked the succulent succubus to be the familiar spirit because one, she's a succubus, and it's like if this is a card that you'd really want around and like you want a familiar spirit that like really represents the sin of lust, why not have a card that makes it easier for you to raise? And what she does actually is like she protects you from your raises being interrupted, or from like you not being allowed to raise. Like if an opponent tries to negate an effect, she makes it so that your effects just can't be negated. So it's like your opponent, because there are several cards that do negate card effects, and they can really mess you up. And so you have to find some other ways of dealing with them. And there's so it's like it made sense to me to make a card that would protect you just wanting to just send out just card after card after card, and it's like you just cannot resist her. And why would you want to? All right, I think that's about it. If I forgot anything, I'll feel real dumb about it later. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and please check out the Hocus Pocus trading card game, now available on the Game Crafter. That's a thumbs. Thank you.